in here.
Go for it. What's up, guys? Welcome to A Resar's Life. This is an interview with Monica the Posh Hanger. Thank you so much, Monica, for taking some time out to talk to us. And I know before we get into the topic, why don't we let people know where you live and what do you do?
So, hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me again. I'm kind of a neighbor to Chris. I'm about to go storm his storage unit and find out all his secrets.
That's right.
Yeah, Chris is my semi neighbor. Actually, where he lives is kind of the area where I source in the Bay Area. So, I am in California. I am in a small little beach community called Santa Cruz. So yeah, I have been a full-time reseller for almost 10 years. I am the Posh Hanger on all social media platforms. I've just semi-recently joined Chris and Tech in this amazing Facebook group. I have been doing like these coaching lives every Thursday, and Chris said, "Let's go live on YouTube." I said, "Okay." So here we are. Happy to be here.
Thank you for coming. And then where can people find you if they want to reach out to you on social?
The Posh Hanger is my main platform, social media wise, is Instagram. I've been a little more active on Clubhouse if anyone is on there. I love kind of just having it on in the background. Working from home the last 10 years, I swear I've watched every show from Dexter to Law and Order to just everything.
Yeah.
So I'm always used to having a show in the back. So now with the introduction of Clubhouse, I shut off the TV and it's just playing in the back. You're still working. But being able to shut off the TV and have Clubhouse on and listening to different rooms I listen to like things from reselling to things to do with like Latinos in business, women in business, just sports. But what I love about the reselling community Clubhouse rooms is that I can have it on. It's like a live podcast with the option to interact. And even though I may not interact every single room that I'm in, it's nice if they have a topic that I feel like, oh, I really want to talk about this or give my experience, that I can just quote unquote raise my hand on the app, and all of a sudden I'm talking to 50 friends. It also made me realize how much of a um, extrovert I am, and in the last 10 years I've kind of not let that part of me out. And so being on Clubhouse, I'm like, so going from like corporate where I had so many people around me to then working from home by yourself, I feel like the part of me that was an extrovert, kind of like that soul, that piece of my soul, like left my body in the cartoons when the soul's like leaving. I feel like that's left me, but it's like coming back recently. So yeah.
So today I want to talk to you about finding the groove on eBay and Amazon. And earlier I was talking to Zahir in the UK, talking about the same thing. I consider myself an extrovert. I don't work well as a lone wolf. I excel on a team, but solo, not so much because I have to come up with my own system. So you are now battling two dragons, eBay and Amazon, and kind of doing it solo. So today I want to talk about finding a groove, or as you call it, the new normal with
Yeah.
balancing the platforms.
Yeah. So like Chris said, this is the reoccurring topic in my social media stories, is me trying to figure out what my new normal is. I quit saying when things go back to normal. I think we all started with that when COVID started. And this has now been a year, March 2020. And it was like a month went by and we kept saying, when we go back to normal. And then another month, when we go back to normal. Now I've just scrapped saying that. And I'm like, it's never going to go back to normal. My business model has changed. I have changed. New opportunities have arose. So now I'm just trying to find my new normal. So what that involves for me is, so I've been a full-time reseller, like I said, for almost a decade. And within that decade, I've primarily been on eBay. And like the first 5 years was just eBay. And so I was there doing eBay, used women's fashion. And then in 2017, I started to get my feet wet into Amazon, and I kind of got a little groove, but it was definitely a distant number two. It was nice to have extra income, but eBay was always my number one for most majority of those years. And then March 2020 hits, the thrifts close, which is where I source for eBay. And all of a sudden I'm standing there thinking, what am I going to do? I can't go to the thrift store. And even the places I would do liquidations closed, like literally everything closed. So all we had is like Targets and Walmarts to source from and some online spots. So at that point I decided, well, fate chose for me. I need to dive head first into Amazon. This is my opportunity. So with that being said, I dove in, and, due to the situation with COVID, it exposed a lot of categories and a lot of bolos and a lot of opportunity for me. And I was able to, for me, scale up my Amazon to where now it's my number one platform. So last year, I did just a little over 400K on Amazon. And then I did just a little over 100K on eBay, which is my smallest numbers for eBay in a really long time. But so it was literally 4 to 1. So now I'm trying to figure out, do I let eBay go completely? Do I go 100% into Amazon? What's the right answer? That's where I'm at now, trying to figure that out.
I want to talk about something a little bit deeper into the Resar mentality, if you don't mind tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like a lot of people have great intentions. They
Mhm.
want to do, like me, I want to do 10 different platforms. I want to do all these different things.
Yeah.
But what I actually do has nothing to do with what I intend to do. It's just like the stuff that my routines. Like I
Yeah.
have people who come here at a certain time. I'm always here. We
Yeah.
have this call every week. I'm always there. But
Yeah.
I don't I just that's part of my schedule, so I show up. But as far as the like what I want to do, all of that stuff fails.
Mm.
If I don't have a system set up, like I was really good at showing up to work on time, killing the pay plan.
Yes,
But
me
like
too. I was
me
too.
having to like just kill it with no plan, I don't kill it. I do nothing.
Yeah, that's what Tech was saying. We're leaves just blowing in the wind.
Yep.
That's how I feel sometimes.
So I feel like the structure, even though that's like what people don't want, it's
Hmm.
kind of set me free because I'm more reliable to other people than I am to myself. And like, there's this standard you set for yourself. So text like, no exceptions, I do this.
Yeah,
But if
zero.
you let yourself have one exception, essentially, you just let yourself slip all the time.
Yeah. It's goes into your mind frame of like, oh, I'll let this one time pass, and then it's easier to let it pass the second time and the third time.
So I'm actually one more random thought. Somebody in the chat put that doing 10 platforms must take up a lot of time. I agree with that. But this thing rolls in my brain, which is text says he wants to have thousands of hooks in the water.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, if you have thousands of hooks in one pond, that's very different than thousands of hooks in 10 ponds. That's only 100 hooks.
Yeah.
And you're more likely to go hungry if you do that.
Hmm.
So you've been, this is definitely a battle because eBay was your bay. It took you this far. eBay, you've had unprecedented success, but definitely, I mean, from surface level, it looks like you can't do both.
I mean, and I myself
Yeah.
cannot do both at a high level at the same time,
Mhm.
me alone. I've tried it, it doesn't work. But with help, I'm trying to find my happy medium. So right now I have a photographer and I have a lister, but I've realized it's not enough. I'm still sometimes I need more hours. So my lister is only working my photographer is only working 7 hours a week. And my lister, she's available as much as possible. Um, but she's remote. So I need more help here, like physically here, because it sounds great. Oh, you have a photographer and a lister. That is just two of the activities. I'm still sourcing on foot, which needs to change. And I have already accepted that. I am putting away the inventory. I am grabbing the inventory when it sells. I am answering all the customer service questions. I am doing the shipping still. So there's still a lot that I need to find a way to be hands off with as much as possible. And I know this question, I got this question in the Facebook group is, why don't you just stop eBay? And that goes back to what you were saying, Chris, about like, this is going to get deep, but maybe not. eBay, like you said, has been my bae for almost 10 years. I am a single mother. It has put food on my table. It has paid my house bill. It has put a roof over my head. It has paid all my bills. And I've worked so hard to get all the transactions completed in my eBay store. My feedback's almost 30,000. The sweat equity. Yes, maybe if I started eBay last year, it'd be a much easier decision. But this is not, this is almost a 10-year relationship. And the sweat equity is just really hard to walk away from. Though I know you have to make business decisions, but I am not a robot. I am a person. And it also scares me to just be on one platform as well. I mean, I've been, like I said, I started Amazon back in around 2017. I've been suspended. I've been in the yellow where I have to write POAs to keep my account. I've had IP complaints, inauthentic complaints, Amazon throwing the different things at you that Amazon does. It's not a perfect platform. None of the platforms are perfect. Amazon has its own issues. So for me, I sleep better at night and I would continue to sleep better at night if I could find a way to keep eBay going at a good pace and also Amazon going. But that does not mean they're equal.
How do
So
you, well, let me back up for a second. Do you like, I'm not breaking up with eBay ever. I'm going to keep my eBay
I don't
business
want to
for the
either.
rest of my life. But I also don't want to work in, when I first joined the reseller community and I met you,
Mhm.
and I met a whole bunch of resellers that have been doing it for a long time,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how salty every reseller was.
I
I'm
don't know
like,
what to say
and
that.
I'm like, I don't want to be a reseller if everyone
Yeah,
is this salty after, like doing it. I don't
seriously.
want to be salty in 5 years
Yeah.
from now. So how do you continue eBay without being salty and without abandoning it? There's got to be a healthy medium somewhere in there.
But I'm not salty with eBay. I mean, like I said, there's no perfect platform. Is there things I would change? 1,000% yes. The only thing I've ever been salty about eBay is one thing, and that is that they punish your entire store for lack of new listings. You can have 2,000 banging. I mean, of course, not if you're selling like iPhones or something it's crazy in demand. I'm talking when we're, the kind of stuff we source, a lot of bread and butter, a lot of
Mhm.
competition. It infuriates me that for lack of new listings, your whole store can go cold.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I've ever been salty about. And then when I started doing so much more on Amazon, they are not that way. They don't care if you um, are not sending new inventory in. They do not punish your existing inventory. Most of the times when your sales go down, it is because you've run out of inventory, not because you're in the Amazon doghouse because you haven't sent anything in. So nothing became more clear than to me last year when I had 2,000 listings and I had to stop. I didn't get new inventory, so I wasn't listing, and my entire store went cold. My sales just, no new listings. You know what's going to happen? A steep decline. And it's like, you're telling me all that work I did? There's 2,000 listings there. You can't throw me a bone. So that part, that's the only thing that's ever frustrated me about eBay. I don't think it should be so sharp of a decline, but it's their playground, it's their rules. And so I try to tell myself, yes, that's frustrating, but on the flip side, you just need to be consistent listing. We all know that, we all know that.
So Adele is in Australia and asking what salty means. So what I mean by that is when I first joined the Resar community, the veterans, people who've been doing it for a while, the full-time people were saying they were just exhausted from listing all the time, constantly having to look for new items. If they don't work, their eBay store doesn't work, they can never take a vacation. They're working 7 days a week. And I was like, okay. So right from the beginning, because I didn't want that, I was like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna learn how to get employees and other things because I don't want to be like that.
Hmm.
And I, that's why I'm wondering. I already know that about eBay, and I don't think it's going to change. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's not going to
eBay is
change.
going to be like, oh, your listings are just like Amazon. It's not
Yeah,
like that.
no, no, I agree. And we've talked about this a little on the last few lives, but I have found my best answer to that, and that's having a hot multi-quantity listing. That can buffer those days where you don't need to be listing every day. And I came across this on accident when not this last Q4, but the Q4 before that, when I had sold a toy case that I had actually been selling on Amazon, but the reviews were not good. And I just didn't even want to mess with dealing with the feedback. So I moved it over to eBay because I had already bought so many. I literally had hundreds. And I put them up, and the listing got hot. So even though I was not doing new listings because it was Q4 and I was Amazon focused, that one hot multi-quantity listing selling every day, that kept my store afloat, and it brought life, saved my store because I was still getting sales from all the other stuff, like all my women's clothing. So that's going to be part of my plan, trying to find a few more hot listings that I'm working on right now.
So, I'm trying to think here. Tech earlier texted me. He was thinking about, somebody gave him the advice that he should probably take one day off and work on other projects.
Uh-huh.
And when I think about that, I think that would be the day where you think about product, like a new product or replenishable, because it's also time consuming and usually, and that would be almost like a third model.
Yes. Hmm.
So I think I don't, I myself, I'm thinking about how to balance dividing up days. Okay, this day is replenishable day. When Prince came to visit me, every day is replenishable day.
Hmm.
He
For
doesn't do
sure.
anything else. If you were like, hey, here's a brand new PlayStation 5, he'd be like, that's a waste of time. Even if I got it for free, that would be a waste of time.
Yeah, he doesn't like one-offs. He
No.
like,
He, and so
yeah.
that is the I've I rarely meet the person that can balance both. But I do feel like myself, you, Tech, we have run into multi-quantity items
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
doing what we do.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I agree. It's definitely a different business model. So in no way am I saying I'm going to completely stop doing the one-offs. It would just be a sprinkle of multi-quantity listings, like the ones I talked about that I have right now are just a few used controllers, but they sell. And if I just had like a few more of those, then they don't even have to be, I mean, it'd be great if they were 100% replenishable. That would have to be something new that I could bulk buy. But even like these controllers, they are pre-owned. I usually can buy them locally here in bulk. And once I'm done with one model, say it's like a blue Xbox controller. Once I'm done with that model, then the next ones I get, they may not be that particular model, but then I recycle that listing. And then I just put in the new pictures of the new model that I'm selling. It could be a PS4 controller this time. And just recycling that listing has, I feel like it's working. So it'd be nice to just get maybe at least five going. It's crazy. It doesn't take that much, but that would be just like a sprinkle of that model, not changing my entire model.
Yeah, I hear you. I feel like it's just so hard. There's only so much time in the day, the
Yes.
priorities.
Yes. And so the other day I was thinking, so the other day I was like trying to take a really deep dive into my numbers. looking at like ROIs in different categories. And I was looking at margins, I was looking at eBay, and I was like looking at everything. And I thought, I'm asking myself the wrong question, and I get it. That's a very, very common question. What's your ROI? What are your margins? Like, that's a very common question, understandably. But then I thought, and I've been working on this, a more accurate question to ask for yourself, especially, is what are you making per hour? And I have talked about this in one of the other lives, because that is really going to tell you where you should spend majority of your time. So if Amazon is making X for me per hour that I input into Amazon, I get X out, versus eBay, I put in an hour and I get Y out. I already know who's going to win.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What kind of output do you think eBay versus Amazon hourly?
I think it's let me back up first. One of the reasons I've never really done that is yes, I'm scared. And yes, I'm scared to write down on paper how many hours I work.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? That more than the actual dollars. No, like I'm actually scared to write down how many hours I work and like say it out loud. I'm scared of that because of a lot of reasons. But I mentioned I'm a single parent, single mom, but my son is older. He's 18. He doesn't need my versus like a toddler or a baby where they need a lot of attention. My son, he has his own job. And I don't have a spouse, so it's not like I ever have times where I'm like, oh, we want to go to dinner, which of course I'd want to do that. I'd want to spend time with my spouse if I had one. And I have no social life. You see where I'm going, Chris? So literally from the time I wake up and open my eyes, and I do make the excuse to work and not have a social life, which I'm really, really trying to fix this year. I might need like therapy. I think I probably would need therapy because I don't want to condone that either. It's just a factor of how my life is. So I'm putting pen to paper right now and I'm gathering this data. I haven't finished, but
So let me tell you what I think goes into eBay.
mm,
So I think it's sourcing. Got to go find the stuff. You
mm,
have the years of time to build up the reseller Rolodex,
yeah.
customer service, returns, account maintenance, shipping, prepping. For me, I have to button the items. I also steam items. I also wash items, drafts, packing and storing items, measuring items, describing, grading items, staging them, photographing them, airdropping them, editing the photos because I do that. I launch drafts. I buy packing materials. I order stuff from USPS.com. I have rent. I have corporate stuff that I have to do because I'm a corporation here. I have about $200 a month in subscriptions. I have a meeting with my CPA, and that's like most of the reseller stuff. But I know I've done the math. For me, it's more than $80 an hour after counting all that time. And I have a strict spouse that's like, why are you still working? So I have to be
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, she's
So
gonna tell you. Love
she's
her.
gonna tell me. So that but I kind of have an idea because she's always asking me, you could just get a regular job and not have and actually be done. Because she understands that with a small business, she knew when she was marrying me that entrepreneurs don't they work all day.
Never done.
Right. So
Never.
she knew that up front. So that she's like, but you have to think of the opportunity cost. When you worked
Right.
at Wells Fargo, you were kind of done.
Mhm. Yeah, everything's opportunity costs. And we say these things now. And both you and I had successful corporate careers. And don't get me wrong, there's even were times where I was like, did I make the right decision? Doing this eBay thing, though it happened on accident. But yeah, I have come to the conclusion that all those things you mentioned, the shipping, it's crazy because when we talk about running eBay, we automatically think of the big things, sourcing, the photographs, shipping, but it's all the extra stuff. It's all the little tasks that really add up. And that became more obvious to me as I'm trying to spend more time on Amazon. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll just get a photographer and a lister. That'd be perfect. That'll give me so much time. No, because all the other tasks, they add up.
Mhm.
And so then that's where I knew here's the list of tasks. What can you cross off and not do?
Yeah.
So I have to find someone that can give me more hours, or I'll have to really scale back eBay. I will never say that I'm not going to do it. I can't even imagine not doing eBay. Like, that's like cutting off my right arm. Like, there's no way. I am not, that you're not supposed to say never, but I don't see that. Even if you're an Amazon seller, you're going to get returns. You're going to get items you can't sell that you find that happen to be bolos. You're always going to need an eBay account, So most likely in April, I may switch to just being liquidations, because then that would cut out me spending a whole day. So right now, how I do it is every Wednesday, I take the entire day and I thrift. I do one long ass day. So, but that's one whole day every single week that I donate to eat, not donate, I give to eBay. Where if I was doing liquidations, yes, pros and cons to everything. I don't get to cherry pick, and there's a lot of stuff. I've been doing liquidations for years. There's a lot of times you get all that filler and you can't move it. So I may transition to that, or maybe only source half the day and then just get more stuff from liquidations. But I'm up for it. I'm seeing this as a challenge, like my major reseller challenge of how I'm going to balance the two. And for me, this is my thoughts. My thoughts is that it's going, as far as how numbers are dispersed, that eBay can do about somewhere in the ballpark of 30 to 50% of Amazon.
Okay.
So, I've been tracking this since January is when I really been trying to do both. So it's not been a long time. It's been 2 months. And I had my best last not my best 7 days eBay and not my best 7 days Amazon. I've been way more peak times, but in the new normal of trying to have them both together. And so for the week I did 12,000, a little over 12,000, 8,000 was Amazon and 4,000 was eBay. So that was, eBay was 50% of Amazon. And during that week, I'm like, okay, this is a good pace. Like, I think I could keep this pace. And if I just got a little bit more help, and not even just eBay, like I could use help prepping FBA shipments. I could use help again, like all the other little tasks. Like, I have so much OA sitting in my hallway and there's a bunch of boxes, and I gotta be the one to cut them all down, take the trash, go to the recycle place, get them in the lines of like where they need to go for FBA, prep the shipment, sticker the shipment, put the things in the Cilio bags that need Cilio bags, like to cut the tags. So really the help doesn't necessarily have to just be eBay. I just need more help.
So I have a thought. I've known you for a long time. I think I know what you want.
Mhm.
Tell me what you think.
Okay.
100K a month Amazon.
Whoa, that's
Wait,
my
wait,
goal this
hold
year.
on. I
What
know.
you
I
know?
think so. 100K a month and 20K eBay.
Mhm.
And maybe what you want with eBay is just maybe sourcing and shipping only.
Mhm.
And this is my guess because I'd like to look at it as what does it look like when it's done. I don't want to
Yeah.
keep, I'm hanging up my scientist lab coat. I don't want to be a scientist. I want to be the owner.
Yeah.
Like I can't, like, it must be so frustrating to have your boss come in every day and be like, you know what, we're redoing the whole thing. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like tech workers, they do the same thing every day. He's not in there being like, you know what, we're going to try a totally new system today. He doesn't do that.
No, he's like, me and Ashley always say, Tech is an alien. He is just like superhuman. I can't even like quantify or in my mind what he does. He's just super.
Yeah. Somebody else came with the calculation that you're doing $114 an hour, assuming you work 12 hours a day. If you combine all your
See,
everything.
I knew that was going to send me to a therapist. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah. Oh God, that's not enough.
But let's see. Um,
I knew it. I knew it.
Adela is saying that it sucks that eBay punishes you. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is, though. eBay's been
It is
like
what it
that.
is. Yeah. It really is.
Let's see. Depends on where you came from. So yeah, okay. What do you think? Do you think it's worth it being able to control your entire schedule? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But there's pros and cons to everything. Yeah. You know, yes. I mean, in the beginning there we were, I hope we didn't come off like we were harping on being self-employed because we certainly are not. Either you or I could have gone back to corporate.
Yeah.
But we
Still can.
stayed, yeah. But we stay schlepping this out for a reason, and though we sell on other platforms, like we have a small business, and I don't remember the exact statistics, but the statistics, like X amount of small businesses fail within the first 1 to 5 years. It's something really high.
Basically all of them.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
and
think about this. Think about if you did all the stuff that you do, plus you had to get a website and drive traffic to it, you would be
yeah,
out of business.
yes,
There's like a 0% chance really you're gonna make that work.
yeah,
It's really hard.
yeah, yes. So, and yeah, times I've gotten frustrated being self-employed, and I'm like, I'm going back to corporate, but do I ever? No. There is something, there is absolutely something to knowing like you are the catalyst, you're the decision maker, you're the one that's making all of this go. And I feel like, speaking of small businesses, I feel like resellers, I know for me especially, I feel like we don't give ourselves enough credit. Like, look at what we're doing. We're turning a dollar into five, into 10, into 20. It's almost like magic. There's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of work involved. But in people doing this part time, they have full time jobs and just making extra money for this activity or that bill. Or I feel like resellers should really give themselves a lot of credit. This is not easy work.
No. I definitely think that, I mean, I think I give myself all the credit in the world. I know how hard it is. I
Yes,
look at all the different things,
I
and people are like, "Oh," or when people come work for you, do they just copy your business? No, they don't. They're like, "Nope,
know it's
I'm
too
not
much
going to do
work.
that."
Yeah.
I have
And
never had that happen one time.
I've heard that a million times when I say you need to get some help. And they're like, no, they're going to copy my whole business. No, they are not. No, they are not. It is too much work. It's too much work.
Roger is saying in the chat that you're inspiring. I think so too,
Yeah.
because one of the reasons that I think you inspire so many people is your stories on Instagram are just real life. You're not like, oh, I'm making millions of dollars and this is so easy and here's my Bugatti. You're talking about like, regular life and the struggle for working for yourself, which is essentially what all solopreneurs and entrepreneurs do in the beginning is
Mhm.
they have to balance everything and their family and you're a single parent. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah. And I've been trying I feel like every year I kind of pick an internal theme. And speaking of being real, I've struggled with some depression, some just a real loss of confidence, a lot of things that have I am accountable for, things that I've mistakes that I've made, bad decisions, along with life's challenges that we all get. None of us are immune to life's challenges. Put me in a bad place, where I lost all of my confidence. And so I was never wanting to give myself credit for anything because I felt so bad about myself. And last year, felt like I felt little pieces of the old manga start to come back, just being happier, I've tried really hard to find my peace, um, being grateful and being at peace and having appreciation for what I have. And so back to this year. So this year's theme that I'm working on for me is giving myself credit. That's my whole theme for the year. So speaking of that, is where before I would be like, oh, I did this number. Oh, but there was always a but. Like, oh, you hit this number. Yeah, but look at your Amazon account and you didn't do this. And look at your house is a mess. And look at this happened over here. I always had a but, so I'm trying not to do that and to say, like, wow, you did this, you set this goal and you hit it, and trying to like get my confidence back.
So I have a question for you. This is coming up in the chat a little bit, which is someone said that they're doing eBay to buy themselves a fully paid off house. Somebody said they're doing eBay to fully pay off their credit card debt.
Wow, that's
You
amazing.
have like a big overarching goal that gets you through the tough times.
Did I?
Yeah. Do you have a goal that's like big that you just keeps you going?
Yes. So when I first started eBay, back in the beginning when I left my job, what's funny is my thought was that I was going to buy what a heat press is? It's like a big industrial like
Yeah.
iron to
Yeah.
make t-shirts. So obviously this is pre Amazon merch, right? Because now you can just design it, but people
Yeah.
still use this thing. So my big thought was that I was going to make these t-shirts. So I ended up buying this $1,000 heat press that's literally still in my closet right here.
You still have that?
I still have it. I can't let it go. It's a reminder. But and I went and bought this heat press decals, because you could Google like, heat press decals, and they'll have a bunch of different generic like soccer mom with rhinestones or, whatever. And so I started making the shirts and I started putting them on eBay, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be like this seller. He's selling like 50,000 shirts a month. No, it didn't work. It failed miserably. And then so that business failed. And then I became broke. So that's why I started selling the clothing, because I didn't have any money. And so then I looked in my closet and I had all my office wear, like all of my fancy suits for my corporate job and bags and shoes. So I'm like, I'm going to sell this on eBay out of need, not because I thought it was going to be my new business. I did it because I needed to pay the rent and I didn't have any money. So that's how that happened. And then things happen in life and I just kept doing that. But back to the heat press, the whole point of me reselling, I've always wanted my own something. Not that I was, like selling something on not that there's anything wrong with that, but my goal was to build enough traffic to then funnel it to my own website. So that's my big goal. My big goal is to have my own website where I am sourcing stuff. So what I want to do is I want to go to excuse me, I want to go to Mexico and I want to find some like amazing local artists and buy either like, accessories or belts or just something. I want to source something from Mexico and put it on my own website and sell it there. That's my big goal. But it's not like a dollar goal attached to it. It's just an activity. That's what I always wanted. I never meant to even let it get this far, you know? So if someone would have told me when I started doing this eBay, oh no, you're never going to do this goal. In fact, you're going to sell thousands and tens of thousands of used women's items. I'd have been like, what? Are you crazy? But that's how life worked out. And now here I am. And it's like, I'm in too deep. Actually, Tex said this before. We're talking about switching ideas. We're like, we're in too deep. Like, we're in too deep, you know? But that's what I want. I want my own website. I did it once. And then I've mentioned this to you before. My dad passed away.
Mhm.
And that sent me into a deep depression because I was very close to my dad. And so after the site launched and then I sold out of everything, I was grasping at life. I was drowning in depression from my dad. So I reverted back to what I knew, and that was going to the thrift store and selling on eBay. So I didn't keep that up.
So I have a question. Maybe
Mhm.
this is like the psychologist in me. If when stress happens, people go back to what they're comfortable with,
Yes,
if
exactly. Yes.
if you want to get to that next level, then don't you need to reduce your stress? Doesn't that help you? Because otherwise you just revert back to what's comfortable.
Yes. And so what was causing me, so then more to that story is the depression um, caused me to, it, it, it caused me my own fault, not blaming my father, my own fault of not being able to, if you don't work, if you're self-employed, guess what happens? You don't make money. So then I created some debt for myself. And so that debt caused me so much stress. And so there was no way that I could, you're right. There's no way I could have thought of, oh, I'm going to do this website. No, I'm like just trying to hold on for dear life, which is doing what I know to do so easily, which is go to the thrift store, buy some PLA jelly and sell it on eBay. Like that's what I know how to do without brain activity. But now that things are so much better and finances are good now, the now I'm able to have these thoughts again. You know, now I'm able to have these thoughts of like looking forward and looking ahead. So I'm hoping that I can make some strides this summer. You know, obviously COVID put a lot of our ideas on the back burner, but even if it fails, I need to try because my other big goal isn't just about me. Like I would love to have, so my little sister is my lister. And when she was here, she's in LA now, she was also just helping me. I would love to have a business big enough where I could have both my sisters. I also have an older sister. And that was something my dad wanted. And we spoke about like literally on his deathbed. So that is what I would love to have. And I know they say in business, people say like, don't work with family. I generally agree, but I'm lucky that I have these two types of sisters, and we do have that good relationship where that it would work. So I would love that. I would love to be partners with my sister and do this website in honor of my dad and my mom. My mom is alive, thank God. But for both of them. So
What do
that
you need to be comfortable doing that? Because
um
I've known you for a long time,
mhm,
and right now your stress level is way lower than when I first
yeah,
met you.
100
So, but
times.
then also like your success is way higher than when I first met you.
Hmm.
So it's almost like you can't surpass your personal development.
Yeah.
You know, like you're a lot healthier than you were when I first met you. Your business is a lot healthier. To get to that stage where you have a business with your sisters, that's like slaying it. That's way up there.
Yeah, I'm trying. And
So how do we build you up?
for me personally, I've been doing a lot. I've never been one to like sit and read books about like personal development and feelings. Like that was never me. That was not me. But in that period where I was going through my mental challenges, I always say that I built myself a mental prison. Brick by brick, I built this mental prison and I was inside it. And I was like, how am I going to get out of this? So I started like looking around for people, books
Yep.
that would help me. And I've mentioned you, I know I keep saying I mentioned because you and I talk all the time, but Bruce Lee, man, Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee and Inky Johnson, I give those two a lot of credit for helping me build up my self-esteem again. But I think it all starts from being at peace. You can't have all these self-esteem and confidence if you're not at peace with yourself.
Hmm.
So for me, that was my number one most important aspect of my life that I had to fix, and that was being at peace with myself. Because once you're at peace with yourself, then it opens the door to more advanced levels of self awareness and self discovery and self elevation. So I'm in that phase where I do, and it's a constant work in progress. It's not like, oh, yay, I reached the level of peace. I'm done now. No, it's like it's constantly evolving. So me just being happy with my output, my productivity every day, giving myself credit, giving myself breaks when I need them, and trying to pull up as many people along as the way on the way as possible. And I agree with you. I feel like it does have to parallel your
Yeah,
success.
because
Yes, I
I
never
asked
thought about
I
that.
asked
Yes.
people what okay, so we know Tech is the most consistent person ever, but I
So
asked the question, why do you think that? And somebody answered, because he's the most emotionally stable person I've ever seen.
oh my gosh,
Okay,
yes.
so that makes sense because he doesn't have ups and downs. He's not
He doesn't.
chasing things. There's no bolos. So emotionally, if you have flatlined at that level, and of course, I'm sure he hasn't always been like that, but currently, he's a very emotionally stable.
Like this.
So that makes it so. Why would your behavior change if you were just cruising? It's
Right.
when you're not feeling well, everything sounds like a good idea.
Yes.
So you're bouncing around.
Oh, I'm like, this is tech. This is me. But I'm trying. In the last year, I'm leveling off.
Yeah, you are.
I am.
Yeah.
Wow. Tech is the goat in a lot of areas, man.
But that makes it, like if I were to tell people right now, there's this cosmetic at TJ Maxx that you can spend $1 on and make 100.
Uh-huh.
If you feel the itch and now you're getting in, you're already turning this off and running to your car, that's partly emotional.
Yes.
That's not just the money.
Yeah. The FOMO got you for sure.
Oh, got you. I
Mhm.
know.
Yes. And I battle with that too. So I'm trying. I feel like it all also comes to just being self aware to recognize those things.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
true.
people are listening right now to you just saying that, and they never put those two together that it's an emotional response. So, but all of that comes from self discovery. Like, you really need to know yourself.
I want to talk about something in the chat. A lot of people are asking about suspension and restrictions. Most
Oh,
of most of that happens from being in a hurry. You're selling a whole bunch of things that are kind of questionable, or you're not taking your time in building something long term. Anytime eBay sees a spike in sales for no reason, you're going to be restricted or suspended most of the time.
hmm.
They don't like that.
And with eBay, it's hard to get suspended or kicked off. It's not the same way for Amazon. With Amazon, so when I got suspended, I was suspended for inauthentic claims, which were false. I had my receipts, excuse me, invoices. Still took me a month. Still took me to actually have to hire someone to get me out of it. So, and so for Amazon, doesn't though, yes, of course, if you're sloppy, if you're not taking care of your X's and O's and packaging things correctly, yes, of course, you're opening yourself up to bad reviews and just messing up with your compliance, self-inflicted. But there's also a lot of people that can get suspended that did nothing wrong, including myself. And that is when customers make claims on you, which is something like an inauthentic claim. It can also come from a business doing an IP complaint saying what you're selling is fake, which it's not. And you literally have proof of invoices. Um, so the thing is, you just got to really, you have to keep a really good records. And Amazon is just getting more strict every year, it seems. So keep good records and do good work. And of course, you will minimize those kinds of things happening to you. But
Um,
sometimes it still
Thomas
happens.
said if war broke out, he would follow tech in the war, and tech would be like killing a lot like listing and just figure out the most efficient way to do it.
I know he'd be like, got him. Yeah, me too. I'm in the
Yeah,
bunker with tech for sure.
people are, oh, and also this makes me think too. Like, I don't at this point in my life, I don't need to be number one. I don't need to be
Me
out on
neither.
the front line. I don't care. I'll just follow the method that works.
Me
You
too.
know, I don't have to reinvent. You and I think are work best under some kind of an umbrella structure,
Hmm.
you know, being purely creative. So I want to mention one more thing about sales. When you're in sales and in regular business, you don't do any of the real work.
No.
All you do is talk to someone and then you're done.
Yeah, you seal the deal and you walk
Seal the
away.
deal and you go home and
Yeah.
you get paid the most and it's really important. But
Hmm.
when you start your own business, you do like it's like hundreds of other people's jobs.
Hmm.
Now all fall on your own head.
Yeah. Oh, it's the truth. 1,000%.
We got Hustle at Home Mom Ashley in the chat.
Oh,
Uh,
hi, Ashley. Hey.
Another thing I want to commend you for. I think this is part of building you up too. One thing that you and Ashley do well is you guys talk about mental health. You talk about that mental game
Hmm.
because I mean anyone can just tell you this is what sells well. That's easy. But
Yeah.
that's not why you guys have tens of thousands of followers. It's not from your bolo list.
No, and Ashley, hi, Ashley. I'm not, is this the YouTube chat you're talking about?
Yeah.
I can't see that, but love you, Ashley. That's been the beautiful part of joining social media is being able to feel like you're not alone. You know, all those years that I did eBay reselling and I had zero social media, zero reselling friends. And that only added, to the negative stress and the why me this and then when I joined the community and like Ashley, for example, who's like my sister, I adore her, and it's been great to find like-minded people that we just exchanged a really silly TikTok about how if it's not perfect, we like bash ourselves. If we do something and we don't see it's perfect, we're like, oh, well, we don't deserve to breathe air today because we didn't do this. And so we're trying to pull each other up, and saying, I always tell Ashley, if you only saw what I see when I look at you, and she does the same for me. So the mental part of it is so important because like I was saying earlier, if you can't be at peace with yourself, that's the foundation of everything. And I learned that the hard way through going through a depression. And I was just like, it is true. Mental peace is the real bag. It really, really is.
So I think this is really important because um, I've been taking a lot of baby classes as I don't know that much about babies. And
Oh
I think,
gosh.
okay, this is so dope to me. I'm watching, so there's like a NICU nurse or some kind of a nurse giving a scenario. So
Yeah.
this blew my mind. There is like 100 different ways you're supposed to console a baby when it's crying. I
Wow.
watched this series where this mom does like every like 80 things in a row and the baby will not stop crying. And the nurse is like, this is real life. And it's not always going to go just because you know all these things that are going to happen. It's not going to go. Even me as a nurse, I'm not sure what's going on. And I
Mhm.
think that if you're okay with that happening when you're running your business, it's like when you, from my thoughts so far, I don't know, I'll find out in 3 weeks, but a newborn is like a blob. You have to do everything. Okay. From my understanding, you do everything, you do the best you can. Once the baby can start walking around, it's totally different. That's what starting e-commerce is. That's what starting businesses are. It's a blob. It doesn't know how to do anything in the beginning.
Right.
And you can try a whole bunch of things and it won't work,
Right.
but it just
And
takes a while.
and you don't even know what you don't even know until you get there. You're like, wait, this is a thing? When is this a thing? A
Yeah,
thousand percent. Yeah.
and people are too reactionary. What if I list a hat? Will that help my sales today? What if I, there's no one thing that you're going to do that's going to make your sales go up. It's a combination of everything that you put
Yes.
together that makes it work.
Yes. And that always reminds me of what is our most frequently asked questions. One of them is anytime I post sales or talk about my sales, number one question, how much are you listing per day? How much are you listing per day? How much are you listing per day? Which I get it. I would want to know that too. No shade to that question. But my head automatically starts calculating like what you just said. It's not just how much you're listing, because if you're listing 10, Pilly J Jillies versus 10 iPhones, that's a totally, you could list one iPhone a day and you would be, your sales would be amazing. You'd have a sell-through rate of 100%. But there's just so many factors, like there's so many factors. And right now I'm not even listing that much. It's
Yeah.
just listing better stuff.
Well,
So, but yeah, I agree. It's a combination of things. I'm ending selling similar. I'm sending offers, messages, the waking up my store every morning, checking to see what's ending. If that needs to be ended and sold similar, plus the new listings. It's just like a combination. Sometimes I list and I feel like it's not enough because I didn't do the extras. I didn't send offers that day because I was in a hurry and I had to go sourcing. And there I'm at the stoplight, sending offers at the stoplight on my phone. So I feel like you got to be in tune with all of it.
so
Being
I
at
want to,
peace, talking about being at peace internally for you personally, you got to be at peace with eBay. You got to do all these things. You got to send offers, you got to reply message, you got to list, you got to check your stale inventory. Yeah.
I want to be respectful of your time. So I'm going to ask you a pretty hard question at the end. So,
Oh,
I'm going to be
okay.
hanging out with you all
Let me
year.
get some beer. Just kidding. It's water.
I know, right?
No,
I got one ready.
I don't. I'm
The
just kidding.
question is, when we have this conversation next year, what do
Uh-huh.
you want to be different about your business?
But if I say this out loud, then I'll have to hold myself accountable,
I
Chris.
know. Yeah, I want to know what's going to be
Why are
different,
you
and we'll just
doing
do it
this to
together.
me? Why?
Also, it's unacceptable that I haven't at least come visit you with like a care package because we're like
I
too close to
know,
like
me
a lunch or
too.
something.
And I go source the Bay Area literally every Wednesday. We should do lives together. Like we should be doing the live right now together.
Maybe Wednesday.
Yes.
Wait, when are you?
Yes.
We should have lunch on. Actually, I don't know. Sourcing day is hard.
Yeah.
I
Sourcing
source
day
on
is hard
Wednesdays too.
because
Yeah,
um, I have to be in that mind frame. If I stop,
yeah. I
like,
don't think I can stop either.
yeah, it would
I
have to
don't
be
even eat on Wednesdays. It's just go hard all day. There's no time. It's so hard to source that day.
okay. So let me just answer this question because you're making my heart beat fast. See, this is knows that I'm don't want to answer this. I do, but okay. I want to be off this hamster wheel.
Okay.
I want to be off this hamster wheel desperately. And if I talk too much about it, I will probably start to cry. But I have been working my fingers to the bone for a long time. And when I was really stressed out in my finances, when I had gotten into debt and I was just, yeah, I was making great sales, but it was this just the debt was eating at everything. And I just kept thinking, I can't do this anymore. I was getting so burnt out and I'd cry myself to sleep. And I need to get off. It was very clear, Monica, you need to get off this hamster wheel. It is making you sick. I got high blood pressure. I would get really bad stomach aches and headaches, and it was all from the stress. And so I told myself, when I get out of this financial crunch, you really have to find a way to like do more FBA, and so you can be hands on, hands off, and get off this hamster wheel, and then try to pivot into what you really want to do, which is your own website. You got to make waves towards that. You got to make strides towards that. So, and if I do continue eBay, I need it to be hands off. I need to be able to take a day off and not feel like everything's gonna just. And I know it won't. I know I could take a day off and it would be fine. But the daily duties that eBay requires to keep your store optimal, you can't, it doesn't feel like you can take a week off unless you're like planned so much. I'd love to have my business running to where I could take a week off and not feel guilty, like everything's just gonna
Mm.
fall apart. That's not the business I want. Yes, I'm happy and appreciative of the business I do have. I'm very grateful for it. I've put a lot of time, but I don't want to be on a hand. And I guess to an extent, every type of business is to an extent on a hamster wheel because of of the repetition involved, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, you know what I mean. I
I
want a break, man. I've been working for 10 years. Like, I need a break. I need a break. I need more breaks. I need to have this business running without me a little bit more.
Yeah, someone put in the chat, you need some automated systems, or you need some people to help you. And
100%. Yes. Yes.
I agree
Absolutely.
with that. I think that for me, having that person come in, and because I did the math, for
Mhm.
me to do what I want to do to reach my financial goals, all I have to do is work 42 hours in the day. The problem is there's not 42 hours in the day.
I was gonna
So
say,
I,
I
so
think
so,
it's a week.
so I have to have
Oh,
people
wow.
helping me
That's
because
it? Yeah. Yeah.
it's not even possible. Once I
That's a
realized it's
great,
not even possible.
that is a great way to look at it, since I'm so into like what I make per hour. And
Yeah.
Jeff told me, and now I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep. But besides that, yes, that is what I need to come up with. How many hours per day do I need help with to make this machine run the way I want it to run? So thank you, Chris. You just like hit a nail on the head for
Well,
me.
because I looked at it, 42 hours in a day. That's how long it would take me to do it. Because I want to do 200 listings a day. If
Yeah.
I divide the time up to me doing 200 listings a day, it would take 42 hours. And I can't even work that hard. So like it's 42
Yeah,
hours
we're not
of,
tech,
I
man.
know, 42 hours of
Tech.
laser work. It actually would take me like 80 hours of my my week effort. Because I would get tired after 10 listings. So there's no way to really do 200 without help
Yeah.
for me.
Hmm. I
Uh,
agree.
well, so Debbie is saying after 5 years, she's finally taking every other weekend off. You know, I'm going to share one story, and then I should go. I dated an investment banker when I lived in New York City, and she worked from 7 in the morning till 1 in the morning, 6 days a week. She only took like a half day off on Sunday. She was working like 17, 18 hours a day every day. And I remember her boss said, if you don't want to work till 1 a.m. on Saturday, then don't bother coming in on Sunday. That's like how hardcore it was at that crazy level.
Mhm.
But that makes me think that I think everyone can. I mean, this is like you have more time than you think. There's more. It's just about organizing your day, and
Mhm.
then
I agree.
and the payoff for her was she wanted to be done working by 30, and she did it.
Wow.
She's been retired for several years now, and but she put in that work with that light at the end of the tunnel. If you
Yeah.
don't have that like
Yeah.
magical
That
rainbow
beacon,
pot of
that
gold,
kind of,
you can't do it.
yes, I agree. And for me, I passed that hurdle, which was getting my finances straight and building my savings and building up my spending capital. So now I'm not so stressed, and now I can make more buying decisions, better buying decisions, bigger buying decisions, which will hopefully lead me to that place March 4th next year, where I say, Chris, I figured it out.
I can take a week off.
I could take a week off.
Yeah,
As a matter of
I like
fact,
it.
I'm picking you and the baby and wifey up. We're going somewhere.
Yeah, and it is, I think that, when you meet, because I met Beat the Bush and a few of the financial early retirement people,
Uh-huh.
and it made me realize when you have a goal that you never want to work for someone again, right? That usually happens when you have a boss that sucks. That helps. If you can see
Yeah.
that person's face whenever you wake up and you're like, I never want to see that person's face again, then you can grind and make it happen. But if you've never hated your job, like I liked my job.
I love my job.
See, that's the opposite kind of motivation though, because it's
Yeah.
kind of like in the back of my brain, I could just go back and get a job I like.
Hmm.
But if you hate your job and you never want to go back and you have that fire burning, those are the people that get to that crazy level usually. It has to come from a dark place almost to
Yeah.
get there.
Hmm. It does because you want the release of that dark place.
Yeah. Let's see. Dana says that she's on track to retire at 50 and she'd like to move that up.
Yes. Go, Dana.
I
I
agree.
like these people. I guess I should have been on the chat. I'm missing the chat.
Yeah,
The
no, I
YouTube
love it.
chat.
You need that
Chat.
bigger why, because Tech was like saying he does this for his son and he
Yeah.
wants his family to be taken care of if something happens to him.
Yeah. Same
That's a
here.
really strong why.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that in the beginning, Tech was a single dad. So
He
him and I
was,
would
yeah.
Tech and I would relate a lot on that. And both of
Mm.
our sons are the same age. We have a lot of similarities. Um, I always say he's like I'm just like just a tiny bit of him. But when I say we're similar, but just a lot of life's things. And
What's
I'm
your
the
son's
same.
birthday? Can I ask?
September 18th.
Okay.
So he just turned eight. Well, not just, it was last year. He will be 19 this year. But same, I have that goal of like him not having to worry if something happens to me and also helping my family. So I do have that as well for sure.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
everyone, have an awesome week. And actually, before we go, um, Monica is one of the coaches in our Patreon group, and she coaches at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Thursday.
Yep.
So if you guys need help with Amazon or FBA and you want to get that going, Monica was able to do 500K last year. And next year, when we're talking, she's going to have the ability to take hopefully a 1 week vacation.
Yes.
And that's going to require her to come up with some systems in the next year so that she can actually pull that off. But Monica, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah. So I am the posh hanger mainly on Instagram. That is pretty much where sometimes you can find me on Clubhouse chatting. So say hi, please. And shout out to the YouTube chat that Chris was referring to. I guess I should have been on that side, but I didn't see. So,
Thomas says that you look like you just turned 28. So we'll end it right there.
oh, how sweet. Oh,
Yes.
thank you. I wish
Uh,
I was. I wish I would have started. Don't get me going on that. I wish I would have started when I was 28. Man.
that's right. Uh, that's it. All right, everyone. Have an awesome evening. I will see you guys